the permission trap. Why you still second guess yourself in business. You know, the moment when you have a clear idea, an offer, a post, a move you know feels right, and then you freeze. You start second guessing, asking 5 different people for their opinions, reading one more book, waiting for a sign, waiting for certainty. That's not decision. That's the permission trap. It's the reflex to outsource clarity because somewhere deep down, your nervous system doesn't trust your authority. And that makes total sense. Most women aren't raised to trust their authority. We were trained to read the room. Think about it. As little girls, many of us learned to be attuned to other moods as a survival skill. We knew when to soften, when to please, when to perform. We learned that harmony equaled safety and that being right mattered less than being liked. That programming just doesn't vanish when you become a CEO of a business. It just wears heels and holds a Notion dashboard. So when you start your business and suddenly every decision about pricing, hiring, launching, and boundaries pokes the old bruise. Am I allowed to decide this? You might not say it loud, but your body feels it. Your shoulders tighten, your gut second guesses, and your brain looks for someone to validate your next move. You think you need strategy, but what you really need is self-permission. The permission trap shows up in sneaky ways. You were over-researched instead of deciding. You crowdsource intuition. What do you think? Does that sound crazy? You delay launches because I'm not ready yet. You feel safer following someone else's formula than listening to your own body work. That's not weakness. That's a nervous system doing its job, scanning for safety before exposure. But here's the paradox. When we wait for permission, we keep recreating the exact powerlessness you try to escape. You trade authenticity for approval. Every time you do, your self-trust erodes a little more. And you doubt your knowing. It's rarely about surface decisions. It's about what that decision symbolizes. Visibility, judgment, responsibility, separation. For many women, being decisive once meant being punished, called bossy, cold, selfish, ungrateful. And even now, making a choice can trigger this ancient alarm. If I stand out, I'll stand alone. That's not mindset. That's memory. Your body keeps reliving it every time you hesitate. I once worked with a brilliant strategist, a calm, grounded, razor sharp in sessions, but every decision took her weeks. She'd rewrite proposals 10 times, seeking the right wording. When we unpacked it, she said something that hit me hard. I know what to say. I just don't trust that I'm allowed to say it. That's the permission trap in one sentence. She didn't need to learn confidence. She needed to reclaim it from parts of her history that still equated assertiveness with risk. So we rebuilt her internal reference point, that quiet place in her body that signals yes or no. Not logic, not fear, just felt truth. One step was simple. Before any big decision, she put a hand on her body, belly, on her chest. What felt like expansion? What feels like contraction? Not what will they think, but what does my system know? Within weeks, the decision stopped feeling like cliffs. They became signals. Decision making is just a bodily process before it's a brain process. Your gut, your heart, your brain all sending data up to the vagus nerve, the communication hallway of safety. And when your body feels safe, your intuition becomes clear. When it feels unsafe, logic, fear tangle. That's why anxiety often masquerades as intuition. So if your nervous system doesn't feel safe with autonomy, every decision will feel like danger disguised as doubt. The work isn't thinking harder, it's to co regulate with your own authority. And here's how you begin repatterning that. Pause before seeking input. Next time you were tempted to ask 5 people for their opinion, stop. Ask yourself, do I want perspective or do I want permission? If it's permission, take deep breaths and make a micro choice alone. That can be small, choosing the title, date, the color. Your body needs proof. That self-led choice doesn't lead to exile. Name the old authority voice. Whose voice do you hear when you hesitate? A parent, a teacher, a boss, a mentor. Thank it for trying to protect you. And then remind your system, I'm an adult now. I decide what's safe. Feel it before you finalize. Ask, does decision feel like expansion or contraction? Expansion isn't always comfort, it's grounded openness. Contraction is tension, shrinking, the feeling of self-betrayal. Your body knows the difference before your brain rationalizes it. There's a woman I deeply admire who built multiple 6-figure businesses but couldn't shake the habit of second guessing. Every time she praised, she was prepared to raise the price. She'd get stuck in that spiral of, what if they say no? We exploded together and discovered that as a child, asking for more food, more attention, more space was met with, don't be greedy. So now every financial decision felt like disobedience. Her breakthrough, wasn't tactical, it was emotional intelligence. She began practicing micro assertion, stating tiny preferences loud daily. I want this, I prefer that, no thank you. The repetition built a new internal association. Expression equals safety. A few months later, she raised her rates calmly, without a single justification paragraph. Her assistant finally trusted that self-advocacy didn't equal danger. When you build that kind of safety, clarity remains on its own. Clarity isn't created, it's uncovered once the fear quietens. Indecision isn't confusion, it's a nervous system waiting for its reassurance. You can give that reassurance to yourself by proving that you won't abandon your voice again. Start small. Decide where you'll work today without polling your team. Pick the headline you like, not the one you think that would perform better. Send the email in your own lane, in your own tone, Every act of self-trust compounds into authority. You don't become decisive by forcing confidence. You become decisive by becoming safe in your own authority. So next time you catch yourself spiraling between options, whisper this: I don't need permission to lead. I am the authority I've been waiting for. Every decision you make from congruence, even a small one, rewires your brain towards trust. And over time, that trust becomes leadership energy that people can feel. So there's a journaling ritual for a week. I call it the stress diary and the gratitude journal. Write down 3 decisions you've been postponing. For each note, you say, what fear sits under this delay? Whose approval am I unconsciously waiting for? And what does my gut already know? Then commit to one self-led action, something small enough to feel safe, but meaningful enough to feel real. Afterward, you close your eyes. Take a deep breath and say, I choose, and I've survived it. That's how you build self-trust, one safe choice at a time. Say this: I don't need to be certain to be sovereign. I don't need permission to be clear. Your business will never outgrow the level of self-trust your nervous system can hold. But the beautiful part is that trust can be rebuilt. And when it is, decision making stops feeling like a test, it starts feeling like truth. If you're ready to make decisions from calm instead of fear, join me for the free Reset and Rise Masterclass. We will rebuild your self-trust blueprint so that your next session of growth is based on grounded authority, not approval loops. If you want this embodied across all your businesses, from pricing boundaries to leadership, join the Inner CEO Revi Accelerator. It's a VIP program will teach your body that it's safe to lead, decide, and thrive without waiting for permission ever again. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful time. Take care. Bye for now.